Let's talk about confidence, Season 2, Episode 2, Values, Vision, and the life that actually fits you. Welcome back to Let's Talk About Confidence. I'm John M. Walsh. Last episode we talked about why capable people accept less than they're capable of. We explored the almost satisfied trap and why your brain filters out possibilities when you're focused on protection instead of growth. Today we're going to go somewhere more personal. Most people, when they realise they want more from life, make the same mistake. They try to figure out who they are first. They think they need to understand their values, find their purpose, map their passion, and only then they can create a new direction. The truth is, that's backwards. The fastest way to understand yourself isn't introspection, it's attention. You discover who you are by paying attention to what you want when nobody's watching, when there's no applause, when it's just you and the quiet truth of what draws you forward. Today I'm going to show you how to picture that life, the life that actually fits you. Not the life that looks impressive or the life that earns approval, the life that feels like it's yours. You don't build confidence by forcing yourself to fit into your current life. You build it by shaping a life that fits you. Here's a conventional wisdom. Discover your values first, then design your life around them. But here's what actually works. Picture the life you want first, then notice what values are embedded in it. Now, why does this matter? Because values in the abstract are vague. Freedom, growth, connection, security. They sound meaningful, but they don't tell you what to do on a Tuesday morning. But when you picture a specific life, the work, the relationships, the environment, the daily rhythm, your values reveal themselves without effort. A simple question shifts everything. If nothing in your life would collapse by changing it, what life would you choose? Not a fancy where nothing goes wrong, a real life that feels like it fits. Most people know more than they admit if they're honest with themselves. They know the kind of work that makes them feel alive. They know the relationships where they feel safe. They know the lifestyle that grounds them or energises them. And they know the environment when they operate at their best. And it isn't confusion holding people back, it's permission. The moment you stop asking whether your wants are reasonable, you start hearing them clearly. People assume vision needs to be huge, a wild reinvention, glamorous transformation, something that impresses others. It doesn't. Vision only needs to be meaningful to you. For some people, a meaningful life might mean something like more calm, fewer hours at a desk, deeper time with the family, being outdoors more often, just less noise. For others, it could mean bigger challenges, more responsibility, building something of their own, stepping into leadership, taking creative risks. There's no correct direction, there's only the true one for you. A life that fits you might look bold to others, or it might look quiet. What matters isn't how it appears, it's how it feels when you wake up inside it. Now here's the neuroscience that explains why external achievement often disappoints. Your brain's dopamine system, the reward and motivation circuitry, spikes higher in anticipation of reward than in receiving it. Neuroscientists call this the pursuit gap. This is why the chase often feels better than the catch. It's why achieving goals sometimes can feel a bit hollow. You weren't chasing something that mattered to you. You were chasing something that sounded impressive. And when you align your vision with what genuinely resonates, not what earns applause, the dopamine system works with you instead of against you. The pursuit itself becomes satisfying because you're moving towards something real, something you want. A life that fits you doesn't begin with a job title, relationship status, postcode, salary. It begins with a feeling. Ask yourself, how do I want my life to feel day to day? Calm, challenging, spacious, electric, connected, creative, useful, playful. Most people grow up making choices based on fear, obligation and expectation, not desired feeling. Then they wonder why their life feels wrong, even when it looks right on paper. Your nervous system already knows the answer to this question. When you imagine different futures, your body responds. Some possibilities create expansion, a subtle opening in your chest, easier breathing, a sense of rightness. But others will create contraction, tightness, heaviness, resistance. Neuroscientist Antonio Damasio calls these somatic markers, the body's way of encoding emotional learning. So your gut feel isn't mystical. It's your nervous system drawn on years of data about what works for you and what doesn't. The right life isn't designed from the outside in, picking what looks good and hoping it feels good. The right life is designed from the inside out. Starting with how you want to feel, then building the external structure to support it. Once you can picture the life you want, your values reveal themselves without effort. Here's an example. If the life you want includes creative work, entrepreneurship, or career autonomy, your values will include things like freedom, growth, self-direction, challenge. And the life you want includes, maybe say, deep trust in relationships. Your values will include stuff like loyalty, connection, safety, vulnerability. And if the life you want includes travel, exploration and novelty, well, your values will probably include things like curiosity, adventure, variety and independence. And these values will appear once you realise and picture what it is that you want. Values don't need to be written on posters. They're simply what you're unwilling to abandon. You don't need to choose your values. You need to notice them. They're already there, but you've got to take time to notice them. Here's a practical approach. What I want you to do is picture your ideal Tuesday. Now, I don't want to think like a holiday or a special occasion, just an ordinary Tuesday, but it's in the life that fits you. Where do you wake up? What's the first thing you do? Who's around you? What kind of work fills the middle of your day? And how do you feel by evening? The details of that Tuesday reveal your values more clearly than any personality test. If your ideal Tuesday includes solitude and deep work, well, you value autonomy. If it includes collaboration and conversation, you value connection. If it includes physical movement, outdoor time, you're valuing embodiment. The vision comes first, the values follow. But you got to sit and think about, what's that vision of that life that suits me? When people struggle to picture what they genuinely want, it's rarely because they lack imagination. It's because something else is speaking louder than desire. These are the three common sources of false vision. The first one is expectation. This is trying to live the life that earns approval rather than the life that fits. And signs you're caught here. Decisions being based on impressing others, fear of disappointing parents, partners, peers. A direction chosen because it's what I should do. Second is comparison. This is building a life that looks successful rather than the life that feels right. And signs you get caught in here is constantly measuring your pace against others, wanting outcomes you don't actually enjoy, chasing status symbols rather than experiences that fulfill you. And the third one is identity history. This is mistaking who you used to be for who you still are. Signs you caught here will be clinging to old strengths instead of developing new ones, staying loyal to outdated interests or roles, being afraid to evolve publicly because people expect the old you. Now, the psychology here is important. Your brain builds identity from repeated patterns. If you've been the reliable one, or the high achiever, or the caretaker for years, that identity feels like you, even when it no longer fits. Letting go of an outdated identity can trigger genuine grief. You're not just changing behaviour, you're releasing a version of yourself that served a purpose, but no longer does. Here's what's also true. Identity is not fixed. The same neuroplasticity that locked in old patterns can build new ones. You're not betraying who you were by becoming who you're meant to be. A true vision appears not when you push harder, but when you remove what doesn't belong to you. Vision alone accomplishes nothing. People imagine their ideal life, feel a surge of possibility, and then they freeze because they don't know how to get there. But the truth is, you're not supposed to know how to create the whole life. You're just supposed to know the next step. You don't need a plan for the next 5 years. You need an action for the next 5 days. And that action should be small, boring, non-dramatic. Something your nervous system will accept without panic. For example, if you want to change career, don't quit. Take a class, attend an event, talk to a person doing the same work that you're drawn to. You want more confidence socially? Don't overhaul your personality. Have one 60-second conversation per day with someone new. Do you want more creativity? Don't launch into a project. Maybe put 15 minutes in the calendar and try something for 15 minutes. And if you want better fitness, don't commit to a whole programme. Move for 10 minutes after breakfast. Here's why small works neurologically. Large changes trigger threat response. Your amygdala, the brain's alarm system, interprets dramatic shifts as dangerous, even when they're positive. This is why something like a New Year's resolution fails. The vision's just too big for the nervous system to accept. Whereas small actions fly under the radar. They create new neural pathways without triggering resistance. Then those pathways strengthen and slightly larger actions become possible. A vision becomes real not through ambition, but through behaviour small enough to sustain. There's a hidden reason people stay stuck for years, even when they're disciplined, intelligent, hard-working. You cannot outwork the wrong life. Hard work only helps when it's pointed in the right direction. When it's pointed wrong, it becomes exhaustion. If your life requires constant self-management, constant coping, constant pushing just to get through the week, the problem isn't effort, it's alignment. You don't need more discipline, you need a direction that feels worth the effort. A life that fits you doesn't require superhuman motivation. It's easy for you to participate in because showing up starts to feel good rather than depleting your energy. This is also why burnout happens to ambitious people. They're not lazy. They're working hard at something that was never right for them. People think transformation begins when they take action. It actually begins earlier, when they decide, I'm no longer available for a life that only looks right. I want a life that feels right. It's not dramatic, it's not impulsive, it's not reckless. It's just true. The moment you stop negotiating against yourself, confidence becomes fuel again. And it doesn't matter whether life improves it instantly. What matters is that you stopped abandoning yourself. And that shift, not strategy, is the beginning of a different life. Here's your practice for this week. Finish one sentence privately, honestly, without pressure. Here's the sentence. The life I actually want would feel like. Then add one tiny action that gives you 5 minutes of that feeling this week. Not to overhaul your life, just to remind your nervous system what right feels like. Vision begins there. Everything that follows becomes easier. Next episode, we're talking about decisions, specifically how every choice you make is a statement about who you are and how to start choosing without apology. I'm John M. Walsh. This is Let's Talk About Confidence, and I'll see you next week.